Hi, I'm Amelia and welcome to my channel, So Amelia. It's been a month since I posted, so where have I been and what have I been up to? Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Amelia and I love to make clothes for myself and for my family. I love to talk about patterns and fabric and share a little bit of everyday life too, so if that sounds like something you'd like to watch then do stay tuned. So I thought today's video could be a bit of a chatty sewing catch-up. I have taken a bit of a break for the last month. My family and I travelled to New Zealand. It's the first time we've been back for Christmas since the world got a little bit strange, and in fact my 6-year-old hasn't been there for Christmas since he was 2. So it was such a treat to be able to go out and spend Christmas with my family. So because I just really wanted to enjoy that time with my family, relax with my children and my husband, and just have a lovely time abroad, it's actually been a really lovely break. It's made me really keen actually to get back and share my sewing with you this year. I think taking a break is sometimes so important and it can just reignite that passion that we have for sewing, and I'm certainly looking forward to sharing my makes with you in 2023. So that being said, if there is anything particularly that you enjoy me sharing on my YouTube channel, do leave me a comment below. Let me know what you enjoy, what you'd like to see more of. I asked that question on Instagram and it was so fantastic to get a lot of responses from people about what they've been enjoying and what they want to see more of. So if you've got an opinion, do pop me a comment below and let me know. And if you've been watching my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, it would be so fantastic if you would hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and then you'll be made aware of when I publish future vlogs and you can become one of my regular subscribed viewers, which would be so great. So then, while I was in New Zealand, I did enjoy a little bit of shopping and fabric shopping with my sister-in-law, who also loves to sew, which is so much fun. We visited Spotlight and the fabric store together. So while I was on one of these little shopping expeditions with my sister-in-law, I found a beautiful red dress. Now there was so much about this dress that I loved, but there was also quite a lot that I didn't love. Now, I love the red colour. I really enjoy wearing red. It makes me feel happy. I think it works really well with my skin and my hair. However, I knew that the sleeves, as they were going to drive me crazy because they were just really loose and billowy at the wrist. However, it's not that hard to insert some elastic, so that wasn't a deal breaker. What was a deal breaker was the length. It was really short and it was a very summery weight dress. And with the lifestyle that I lead, with 3 busy children on and off bikes and things, riding them to school, I just didn't think it was going to be a suitable piece of clothing for my wardrobe. But I did love it so much and I really wanted to recreate it, and I popped a message up on my Instagram asking for ideas of what pattern I could use to recreate the dress, and I got so many fantastic responses. I'm going to recreate this dress using the Deer and Doe Myosotis dress pattern. And that's this pattern here. Now you can see it has some very similar features in terms of the collar and the darts in the bodice, and then it's got these flutter sleeves. I'm not sure I'll make the flutter sleeves, but I'm certainly going to think about what I do with the sleeves. I might use the sleeves from another pattern, or I might just extend the sleeves like they were on the dress that I tried on and put some elastic in the cuff. What I really liked about the ready-to-wear dress that's different about the Myosotis dress is the ready-to-wear one had pleats on the skirt, and I really liked the way that that sort of slimmed down the waistline. I thought it looked really nice and quite different from any of my other dresses. Most of my other dresses have gathered skirts into the bodice, and I just thought it'd be fun to try a pleated skirt. However, I don't think it's going to be that difficult to add pleats instead of gathering into this skirt, so I'll probably use this pattern and just pleat the skirt instead of gathering it. Obviously I'll check it first. If I need to add extra length to the skirt to be able to pleat it, I'll check that first and make sure that I have enough fabric to add those pleats. There were only a couple of them, but I think it was just a really nice look. Over Christmas we noticed that Spotlight was having a sale on their fabrics, and so I popped there with my sister-in-law and I found this red cotton gingham. Now it's actually a really lovely red. There's definitely a little bit of pink to it, and I really love that tone of red. It's just slightly more muted and slightly more me. So I'm going to use this to recreate the Myosotis dress. Now Spotlight was having a sale. I don't know if this is still available, but if it is on their website I'll try and link it below. And I think that that paired with the Myosotis pattern will really nicely recreate that ready-to-wear dress. So that was a lovely find, and I'm looking forward to working on that one probably in the spring. I think it's probably more of a spring summer make, but that's one that I've got lined up ready to make later on in the year. Now I only bought 2 pieces of fabric because one of my goals for this year is to really sew through as much of my stash fabric as I can and to not buy too many new pieces of fabric. But I saw this and I thought it was such fun. Look at this. Oh, look at those colours. It's really cute. It's quite cartoony. Probably need to hand it, I mean, it can go any way around really. The faces point in all directions. But this is not for me, I might add. I haven't completely changed my style. This is for my boys, and when I saw it, I just thought that they would love this fabric. It's so bright and fun and cheerful for the summer, so this will go into my stash, ready to make them some t-shirts when we head into the summer months, or if they need them beforehand, I bought enough that I could make them long sleeve t-shirts if that's what they would like. But I couldn't resist picking up this cotton jersey. It's just so bright and colourful and fun, and just what I think we need in these grey, dreary winter days. So that was all that I picked up at Spotlight. There was so much beautiful fabric. I could definitely have bought some more, but I did stop there. We did then go and visit the fabric store, which I always love visiting. I could browse there for hours. The fabrics are just gorgeous. But what I did choose in the end was another gingham. I think I've got a thing about gingham at the moment. I just love these colours. I actually thought it was quite a wintry gingham with the navy blue and then this more royal blue, which are both colours that I adore. And my plan for this is to make another one of the new Craft House everyday dresses. I absolutely loved wearing that dress over Christmas, although I did make a size 10, which is sort of at the smaller end of my measurements. But I am actually going to size down to a size 8 for my next version, just because there was quite a lot of billowing across the back. Now I don't mind that, I think it looks beautiful, but I will just size down in the bodice and see what that is like. There's plenty of room there to size down, but I think it will look beautiful in this gingham. I'm going to make the short sleeves. I absolutely adore the short sleeves, and they're fine to go under a cardi in the winter, and then it just does mean that it'll be a bit more versatile and I can also wear it in the spring and into the summer as well. Even though it's a darker gingham, I think it will still look really cute in the summer with a pair of sandals. So that's my plan for this beautiful fabric. I'll make sure I put a link to this fabric in the description box below, along with any of the other fabrics and patterns that I mentioned today. So before I share a few of the things that I did manage to sew up before we left for our New Zealand holiday, I thought I would share what I'm wearing today. Now Georgie, who runs Hey Sew Sister, the fabric shop, and is Hey Sew Georgie on Instagram, she is running a challenge every week which is called Wear It on Wednesday, and she puts up a prompt at the beginning of the week to just encourage us to look through our wardrobe and wear more of the clothes that we do have, both handmade and ready to wear, which has just been so much fun. I know there've only been 2 prompts so far, but I've really enjoyed both of them, and they've definitely made me think more about what I'm wearing in my wardrobe. So last week's prompt was on Wednesdays we wear pink, which was really good fun. Now I was still in New Zealand last Wednesday, so I did have to rifle through my travel wardrobe. I did find my gorgeous True Bias Zoe dress, which I absolutely love. It's definitely secret pajamas. In fact, I wore it on the plane for the first leg of our journey on the way home. It's so comfortable. I absolutely adore it, and the fabric itself actually is from Hey Sew Sister. So that was last week. Now this week's prompt was something that you did not pull out of your wardrobe in 2022. Now today's actually Thursday, yesterday was Wednesday, and I pulled out yesterday this Davenport patina dress hack that I made back in December 2021. Now for some reason I just didn't reach for it last year. I think the colours feel very bright, especially from top to toe. I think maybe this would have been better as a skirt or separates that I could have just paired with something that was a little bit less bright. But having put it on yesterday with tights and boots, and then I put my black sort of jacket over the top of it when I went out, it was actually perfect. It felt so nice and colourful on a grey dreary day, and I actually love the way that the patina blouse fits with that Davenport skirt. I think it makes a really nice shirt dress, and I made it in this cotton from Oria Textiles, which holds the shape of the collar really beautifully. The only thing I wish I had done was to perhaps put a trim around the collar in a different colour, because it doesn't really stand out against the busy fabric. So that was yesterday. But today I decided to pull out another make that I have actually worn pretty rarely. So I did reach for it a couple of times in 2022, but I didn't wear it a whole lot, and I'm not sure why. It's the Tilly and the Buttons Freya top. And I think I made this about a similar time as I made the Megan Nielsen Rowan bodysuit. Now, I just find bodysuits so much more comfortable. They just stay put under skirts and they look really smart, and they're also very, very comfortable. I didn't think I would find bodysuits so comfortable, but I really do. And so I think I just kept reaching for those more than the Freya top, but it is in a beautiful blue jersey. It's very, very comfortable and lovely and warm. I did put this ready to wear vest, woolen vest, over the top today because it is quite chilly and I'm really enjoying wearing it. I actually also pulled out a skirt that I haven't reached for in a long time, probably before I had my daughter. So there we go. And I really love the fact that this challenge is encouraging me to reach for those lesser worn pieces and fall in love with them all over again. So that's today's outfit, and this Freya top is in Tilly and the Buttons stretch book. Now unfortunately the sizing is somewhat limited on this pattern, so I can recommend the Megan Nielsen Rowan bodysuit. It is in their full extended size range, and actually that pattern comes both as a bodysuit and as a top. There are 3 different necklines. I think there's the faux turtleneck, I think there's a crew neck, and I believe there's a v-neck as well. So it's a really versatile pattern. You can also make it as a t-shirt, a 3/4 length and a full length sleeve. So it's definitely one of my tried and true patterns. I reach for it a lot, I love to sew it, and it's extremely comfortable. So the next thing I want to share in this chatty sewing catch-up is a few patterns that I managed to get sewn up before we left for New Zealand that I haven't yet shared. Now, whilst we were in New Zealand, we were going to be seeing my brother and sister and their lovely, lovely children, and I just thought it would be fun to have some matching outfits that we could wear for Santa photos and for family pictures. And for the boys, I ended up making these really lovely shorts in a striped cotton from Sew Me Sunshine. Now, these are my beloved Bobbins and Buttons elasticated waist shorts. They are a free pattern. I've used them and used them and used them. My boys love this pattern. It's very comfortable. I've made it in woven. I've made it for pajamas in knit fabric. It's extremely versatile, very quick to sew. So using this pattern, I sewed 3 pairs of shorts. I made a 10-year-old size, a 5-year-old size, and I made a size for a 3-year-old as well, and then just adjusted the elastic for their individual waists. But people, I have a new favourite child's short pattern. I am in love. Now, I don't do a lot of Black Friday shopping, but I did see this pattern on sale on Black Friday, so it's the one purchase that I did make on Black Friday, and it's the Little Lizard King Mendoza shorts pattern. I absolutely love it. I think it's so beautifully drafted, and it was an absolute delight to sew. It does have a flat fronted waistband with elastic around the back, or it has a fully elastic waistband. There are multiple options for pockets. You can either put pockets in the front or not. There is a faux fly or no fly, and then I believe on the back of the shorts you can put in back pockets or a back welt pocket. So many different options. Now, I used this pattern because our littlest nephew is only about 6 months old, and there were no 6-month sizes on these Bobbin and Buttons shorts pattern, and I wasn't confident in my ability to size it down. I've got no more baby shorts in this house that I could use to just draft off, so I did purchase this pattern. Now, the Mendoza pattern is incredible. There is a baby Mendoza shorts pattern, which I believe is like newborn to about 3 years old. Then there is the children's Mendoza pattern, which goes from 1-year-old right through to 12-year-olds. So I did buy the pattern in the full range because I'm definitely going to sew these up for my boys for the summer. So these Bobbins and Buttons shorts are fantastic for sort of play shorts, for running around in the garden, for shorts that you don't mind getting mucky at the park. And then the Mendoza shorts look almost more like a smart, more formal shorts pattern. I'm sure they could still be worn for play shorts, but just that flat front, the faux fly, the welt pocket at the back, they just look so gorgeous and so smart. My little 6-month-old nephew looked gorgeous in his wee pair, and I cannot wait to sew up some more of these for my boys in the summer. I really enjoy Little Lizard King patterns. I haven't sewn a huge number of them, certainly not for my daughter, but I absolutely love their boys patterns, and it's quite hard to find lovely boys patterns, or I found that to be the case anyway. They have another pattern that I absolutely love on their website, which is a boys shirt pattern, which I'm really keen to try perhaps for Easter as well for my boys. But their instructions were fantastic. It was just such a delightful sew. And when you're making 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of shorts, it needs to be fun. And it really, really was. So that's definitely a pattern that I'm going to be revisiting sometime soon. And then for my daughter and my niece, I made the Flora Child Bluebell Sundress, again in fabric from Sew Me Sunshine. This is a cotton that they had in over the summer. I'll link it below if they still have it. It is such a beautiful light cotton and it really suits the floaty nature of this pattern. Now again, this has multiple options. You can make it sleeveless, so without the ruffle over the sleeve if you don't prefer a ruffle, but I mean, who doesn't love ruffles? And then it has various skirt lengths. I think this is more of the maxi skirt length. I do believe there's a short length and you can make it as a top. It's just such a lovely loose fit. It's got elastic around the sides here, and then I decided to put poppers down the back of mine just for an easy closure, although I'm sure you could use buttons if that's your preference. It's such a very quick pattern to sew up, but it just looks beautiful on, and my daughter absolutely adores twirling in this very full, very twirly skirt. So I did make this in a size 4, I believe, and it fits her beautifully now, but there's definitely room for her to grow into it, and I just wanted to do that to extend the life of the garment for as long as possible. I believe I made the 9 to 12 month old size for my niece, who was about 7 months old, and it was a little big on her, but again, room for growth, and hopefully she'll be able to wear hers next summer as well. So the final thing that I made before we left for New Zealand was the Friday Pattern Company Saturday skirt set. Now when I saw this, I absolutely loved it. I love a skirt, I love a wrap top, I love a shirt, and this just incorporates all 3 of those. So this is a shirt, but there's no fastenings. Ha! Can I get a hallelujah? I'm so excited. I don't mind fastenings, I don't mind buttonholes, they're not my favourite, but I love a zip. However, when something says no fastenings, like, sign me up. I'm there. Because it just makes it so much fun to sew. It's quick, it's straightforward, and it's just lovely to wear because you can really make it fit your body. So that's the shirt. And then the skirt is a flat front waistband with elastic at the back. It's an A-line shape, which I love, and it's, I think, like a mid-axi length. Is that the word? It's quite long. I did chop 5.5 inches off the skirt. I'm 5'5", so I'm not that far below what the pattern was drafted for, but the skirt just felt too long. So it's still about a mid-axi length on me really, but that's the length that I prefer for this style of skirt. Here is the shirt. Now the reason I also love this Saturday skirt set is I think it's going to be a really versatile piece in my wardrobe. This shirt I made in a cotton poplin that I bought from the Knitting and Stitching show. So it's sewed up really beautifully, it holds the shape of the collar really nicely, but it's not too heavy. I actually wore this at the beach on one of the sunnier days that we were in New Zealand, and it just worked really well actually as a cover-up to just protect me a little bit more from the sun, and I didn't feel too hot in it at all actually, so it's a lovely piece for the summer. Now you can tie it up at the front so there's a little bit more flesh on show, or I just tied it right around and made it more of a wrap front top. For me, this length of the top sits perfectly over the skirt. Now, so here's the skirt, and the skirt just sits on my natural waist, and then the top just sits just over the skirt, so it just comes down again to my natural waist. So the 2 pieces together work really well. I did still put a vest top underneath the shirt just because I prefer to not show too much skin, but I didn't really need it as the 2 pieces did meet in the middle, so to speak, which was perfect. If I did tie it in the front, I definitely had some more skin on show, which is fine if you like that, and I like that look too, but I do prefer the shirt as a wrap shirt. Now I'm pretty sure I could wear that with my high-waisted jeans. I think that would be really cute in the summer. I'm going to wear it with skirts, and then again the skirt, I wore this a lot in New Zealand with a top, with a vest top, so it's a really versatile set to be worn together or as separates. I have a smaller bust and larger hips, so what I did, which again is the great thing about making separates, I made the shirt in a size small and I made the skirt in a size medium, so that matches with my body measurements and the sizes fit beautifully. So the shirt, there's not too much excess fabric when I wrap it around, it just fits really nicely, and the skirt, because there is this elasticated waistband, you can just make that to fit really anyway, but it does sit nicely on my waist. Now the only thing I would say, the pockets are beautiful to put in. They went in really, really nicely. I loved the construction of those, and they are sewn into the waistband, so they're pretty secure, but it still does add a little bit of extra bulk around the hips. So if I were to make this again, I would probably omit the pockets. Now I don't like saying that because I do love a pocket, but I just think it might look slightly more streamlined over my hips if I omit those pockets. Now I also have to say this was a very quick sew. Now I have sewn quite a few garments before, so I was familiar with a lot of these techniques. Putting in elastic and putting in these pockets was quite quick, and the skirt itself is just a front and a back waistband and then pocket pieces, so there wasn't a lot to cut out. The shirt also, because there's no fastenings, came together really quickly, and I actually made this set in an afternoon and an evening, so I cut it out in the afternoon and then I sewed it up once the children were in bed. So I'm not sure exactly how many hours it took me, but it was certainly a quick sew, and it wasn't just because I was sewing quickly. I really did take my time, especially with these points on the collar and making sure that the ties went in beautifully and were finished neatly at these tips here. So I didn't necessarily sew it quickly, but it did come together really, really nicely, and I really enjoyed wearing this one on holiday. Now the other thing that Friday Pattern Company have done recently is to make their instructions mobile friendly. Now I'm someone who sews with my laptop in the corner because I do prefer PDF patterns, and so I'll be flicking through the instructions on my laptop, but it was so nice to just be able to have my mobile beside me, and the instructions on the mobile that you could flick through and you can flick back nice and easily. They were so handy and so helpful. I wasn't sure how I would find mobile instructions, but I have to say, I really, really loved them. So yes, that's my Saturday skirt set. Absolutely love it. Looking forward to wearing it more this summer, and even in the spring really, I can layer this up, like I said, over a top and a skirt or some jeans. It's definitely going to get more wear, and I cannot wait to make some more of these. So I think that's probably quite enough from me for this week. The only thing I'm going to do to finish off this little chatty sewing video is catch you up on what I'm working on at the moment in my sewing room. Now I have come back obviously to the winter. It's cold and it has me wanting to sew up all of the lovely warm things, and so I'm working on a corduroy mini skirt. Now the pattern itself, the skirt is quite mini. I have extended it by a good 3 inches to just give me a little bit more coverage. And I'm sewing it in this beautiful blue, sort of paisley almost, needle cord that I bought at the Knitting and Stitching show. Now I bought it from Sewbox. They were selling pre-cuts of Liberty fabric, and I saw this and I just couldn't resist it. I have had a blue sort of mini skirt in my wardrobe for many, many years, and it has worn out. So I knew it was something I wanted to replace, and when I saw this corduroy I just thought it would be perfect. Now I am sewing the Burda style 6252. I love both of these skirts actually. I love this mini skirt because it has a nice A-line shape, and I really like this one for the summer. So I'm looking forward to trying this pattern again in the longer length, but for right now I'm sewing the shorter length of the two. I have many thoughts. I don't sew a lot of big 4 patterns. If I'm honest, I find the sizing frustrating because they do give you body measurements, but they don't give you a lot of finished measurements. And I know you can find them on the pattern pieces, and this pattern did have finished garment measurements for the hips, but what they didn't have was finished measurements for the waist. And since this is a pattern that sits on your waist, that would have been really helpful. Yeah. So I did end up going for a size 14, which fit with my measurements on the measurements chart, but I did think it might be a little bit big, and indeed it was. So I ended up taking in about 2 inches. Now because the skirt, you can see it's just one long piece, because it's fastened with a button placket down the front. Let's see. There we go. You can sort of see that. Because it's fastened with a button placket down the front here, I was just able to fold that in again and take in 1 inch from each side. Because the back kind of sat in the right place, it was just the front that was a little bit too big. But when I make it again, I will be grading in from a size 12 or even a 10. I'm going to look at the pattern pieces at the waist and then out to that 14 over the hips. I also lined it because corduroy just sticks to tights, and I didn't want that sticking to my tights, so I did line it. I will talk more about the process of that in my January makes video when I reveal what I've been making in January, but I just wanted to share that with you. Today I'm working on the closure, so I'm sewing up the buttonholes. I have made some covered buttons, so I might go down before the school run and just have 10 minutes of me time and sit and have a cup of coffee and sew on those covered buttons, and then this one is done. So I'm hoping that it fits nicely. I think I have a difficulty with button front skirts sometimes in that they can sometimes they look fine when you're standing, but then when you sit down they pull a little bit, so we'll see how this one goes. I am not against sewing this button closure down. Obviously I need to get in and out, so the first few buttons will be real working buttons, but at some point if it just doesn't sit quite right when I'm sitting down, I may sew the bottom of it closed just to prevent any sort of pulling. The fabric has been lovely to work with. I'm very excited to get this into my winter wardrobe, but like I say, I'll share more in January when I've finished that, but I just wanted to share that's what I'm working on at the moment. It's almost finished though. So my next project will be the new Craft House everyday dress in this blue gingham. I've got a definite colour theme today, lots of blues. I do love blue, probably one of my favourite colours, blue and red. So yes, that will be my next make, I think, because that will get a lot of wear. I'm not sure how much wear the corduroy skirt will get during the week, just because I'm on and off the bike. Depends how many it ends up being, but it'll definitely get a lot of wear on the weekends. This one here will be much more versatile. I do love a dress in the winter. So enough from me. It's been lovely getting back on to the camera again and sharing some of my sewing updates with you. Hope you've enjoyed hearing from me. Let me know what you were up to over the Christmas break. What have you been sewing? It was funny not having my machine for a few weeks. I did miss it, but at the same time it was nice to have a break, and I'm definitely ready to get cracking on some of my wintry projects. I'm hopefully going to share some plans with you in next week's video. I know it's pretty late in the piece to be sharing my plans for the year. There have been so many wonderful planning videos already, but I haven't shared mine. So do pop back next week and find out what I'm planning for the year. I've got some Make 9 plans. I've got a 23 for 2023 that I'm keen to start working through. Lots of different ideas in the pipeline. So do tune in next week and I'll share those plans with you then. And until then, I hope you have a lovely week full of lots of happy sewing, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!